So Open Communities has counselors who work with clients who are trying not to get kicked out of their housing. The counselors are supported by grant funding, and the grants come from about 36 agencies, all of whom have different criteria for how much money you get based on client demographics and location. 3 of the agencies are HUD, and HUD has very stringent requirements for how you store the client data. Basically, it's HIPAA requirements. And only a specific set of applications have been certified to store client data. These are various contact management applications. What Open Communities would like to do is have a way to, using the client's information, look up the appropriate grants. However, the client management applications have no way to store the grant information. So we're at a little bit of an impasse. We have a preliminary idea that's a little bit clunky. The idea is to have a grants database and a stub for each client that contains only their demographic information and an identifier, but not sufficient to violate HIPAA requirements. The identifier will be stashed in the client management application so that the two can be matched up. When they add a new client, they'll add them in their client management application, and then they'll go over and they'll add just the demographic data and this identifier in our application. Now, that gives them the ability to find the appropriate grants. It doesn't give them the ability to produce reports for the grant agencies, which is a harder task, but because it requires scavenging information about contacts out of the contact management application. So Michael was doing some research on APIs and data sources. Did you want to talk about that?
Sure. Basically, Pat, to give her credit, they were starting from ground zero, and she set them up on Discord and Google Docs so that they have a collaborative infrastructure for going forward. I primarily went looking for data models and data definitions for the HUD grant process, the scheduling of those, client data, other program data. They have a huge universe of things, and they also have their own fields and things. So I tried to make sense by finding, you know, like if you're doing any sort of social services sort of thing, they have an extensive data dictionary for all aspects of client services down to the, you know, individual fields. So I hope other people would, rather than reinventing the wheel, use some of the existing definitions. The going forward, hopefully we can set it up so that those XSDs that describe the data can inform the design of the databases, and then also from the XSD forms, HTML, and then the XML for data exchange. And even if they're not using,
that's
you
our
know,
hard stop, Michael. We hit our 4 minutes, and
okay.
we are